Council Pro Tem, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, I move for approval of the minutes of the November 25th Budget and Finance Committee meeting.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes have passed. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any items for consent?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to have the following items considered for consent. Item number 5 on page 1. Item number 21 on page 9. Item number 28 and number 29 on page 11. And item 34 on page 13.
Okay, that's item number 5 on page 1. Skip to page 9, item number 21. Then skip to page 11, items 28 and 29. Then skip to page 13, item 34. Okay?
Yes. Move for consent.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda has passed. If your item was placed on consent, you may enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Otherwise, we will have item number 4. This is establishing a paid mental health observance leave for all full-time classified employees of the Birmingham Police Department holding the position of police officer, any rank, corrections officer, or police recruit.
Move the item.
Second.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have DC Martin come up and present this item.
Perfect. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Rob Malden, I serve as the Deputy Chief of Administrative Operations for the Birmingham Police Department. And what this is, mental health observance leave. We basically want to make sure that we're preserving our officers' mental health to prevent burnout, stress, and making sure that they have time to deal with some of the things that they encounter on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, perfect. Madam Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm glad to see this. I just had one question. Was this part of the package that the mayor presented to us as far as incentives and different
Yes, ma'am.
retention?
Yes, this is part of the entire incentive package for Birmingham Police Department, and this will probably be one of probably 3 more items that will come before the council for retention and recruitment.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President, you're good to go? Okay, I'm good. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 4 has passed. We're going to actually skip to item number 33. If that's okay, Madam Pro Tem. This is a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a project agreement with Lakeview Oyster House, also known as Moe's Original Barbecue Lakeview, under which Moe's will undertake a project to make improvements to Moe's Original Barbecue Lakeview Restaurant Building located at 731 29th Avenue South, Birmingham, Alabama 35233, following a fire which occurred on or about June 15th, 2024. And the city will provide financial incentives to, that is a typo, instead of Magnolia Point, it will be Moe's. Is that correct? Or
Correct.
Moe's Original Barbecue, Lakeshore, and the amount not to exceed $155,283.03 in support of the project, payable in a one-time financial incentive, and the amount not to exceed $20,000 from ARPA funding and 5 annual installments equal to the lesser of $27,057.61, or 37.5% of the sales tax revenue generated to the city from the restaurant.
Move the item.
Second.
Yes. Come on. We'll have Mr. Attorney Sheffield present the item. Hey, Chris Hatcher. Come on.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Keith Sheffield, I serve in the Office of the City Attorney. Mr. Wesley could not be here this afternoon, asked that I give you a brief overview of this project. Essentially, it's a project funding agreement with Lakeview Oyster House that is doing business as Moe's Original Barbecue Lakeview. They actually had a fire on or about June 15th of this year, which the property sustained significant damage. both from fire, smoke, and water. They ended up having to close the restaurant immediately, and it has not been open to the public since. I do want to let you know that that property is a real anchor for the Lakeview neighborhood and for the businesses there. And they've been a great corporate citizen since they opened, more than a decade ago. So it's basically providing a $20,000 almost immediate payment from ARPA funding in order to assist with the renovations, as well as a sales tax rebate agreement over a period of 5 years, which is up at 37.5% of the sales tax revenue generated by the restaurant. And that's very similar to what we did with Magnolia Point, which is why the title was there.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. Yeah, no, you're fine.
But, so I do have a principal from Moe's Barbecue, Mr. Cody Sellers here, if you have any questions specific to the renovations, or if you need any additional information about their business or the need to get them back open.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to say a few words? Are you the owner?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you need me to.
Can you just state your name and address for the record?
Cody Sellers, Moe's Barbecue.
Perfect, okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Well, yes, thank you very much. I see that you had fire and some damage to your facility in June. So let me ask, how many employees do you have?
Full-time or part-time?
Both.
Both about 20.
Okay, great. And you weren't able to operate at all? I'm not familiar with the damage, so you haven't been able to operate at all?
ma'am.
You've been sitting idle?
The water damage from putting out the fire was pretty heavy expense.
Okay. And any thoughts on your timeline or your project timeline once you receive these funds, when you might be able to go back into business?
We're hopeful for early 2025.
Okay, thank you. That's it, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
thank you. Mr. President, do you have anything? Okay. And are you currently operating right now?
No,
No?
No.
You've been down since June? Okay.
yeah.
Yes, Mr. President.
So, just so I'm clear, is it $155,288.03 and 5 annual installments?
That's the not to exceed amount.
Mr. President, that is the entire sales tax rebate over a period of 5 years, plus the $20,000 in ARPA funding.
Okay.
Are you good, Mr. President?
Yeah, so I got it now. It's 20,000 upfront and then sales tax rebates, after that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Counselor Abbott, I know you just walked in, but. Yes, I'm still breathing. Okay. Okay, all right. I don't have any additional questions.
We already moved it.
Okay.
Yes, second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the item has passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go back to the top of the agenda, so item number 6. This is an agreement between the city and Jones Valley Urban Farm, also known as Jones Valley Teaching Farm, in the amount not to exceed $250,000, under which Jones Valley will provide services to the city by implementing its Food is Our Foundation Youth-Led Systems Change Project, also known as the project to expand their proven food-based model, Good School Food, to an additional 3,700 students in the Birmingham City Schools Jackson Olin feeder pattern by building control environment agriculture learning labs at 8 schools, doubling the number of paid high school interns, increasing collaboration and capacity and resources to align top-performing nonprofit partners.
Move the item.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Hatcher. I serve as the Chief Community Planner in the Mayor's Office. I have Rita Means here with the Jones Valley Teacher Farms who will give you a brief overview of the program. And if you have any ARPA-related questions, then I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Perfect, okay. Madam Pro Tem? Oh, sorry.
Oh, good afternoon. Rita
Afternoon.
Means, Chief Operating Officer. Do you have any questions, or do you want me to just go over the expansion plan?
You can go over.
Okay. We're very excited. We've been working with Birmingham City Schools and was just approved last month for a $250,000 match with what we're asking for now. We can start installations as early as February right now, and we're looking to do four installations in phase one, and that will be Brown Central Park, Green Acres, J.O., Bush Hills, Minor, and Wylam in phase one. And we've already been working with Bush Hills and J.O. at their greenhouses, getting ready to start setting up and implementing programming there.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay. Well, now, Madam Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. Very excited to see the growth of the Jones Valley Teaching Farm. I remember being a member of the school board, and I think it started at Woodlawn or?
Well, our first school was Glen Iris.
Glen
but
Iris,
yes,
okay.
Woodlawn is it's our second largest site outside of
Great,
downtown.
great. So this one, then you said a total of 8. So you're going to phase these in 4 schools at a time?
Yes, ma'am.
And what does this project look like when you say proven food-based model, or what are you actually going to be doing?
So currently, all of our sites are outdoor teaching farms, and what we've been working with a company called New York Sunworks, and they've come down and gone into each of the schools that we're planning on doing the expansion in. We're going to have 6 classrooms and 2 greenhouses, and that's going to look like controlled environment agriculture. So hydroponics, aquaponics systems where students are actually working not only with Jones Valley Teaching Farm staff, but also Birmingham City School teachers to implement curriculum that will be provided by New York Sunworks.
And I've also noticed that you have a number of interns that you'll be paying for their work. Pretty much, what does their day look like? Are they out of the classroom, or do they come over, or are they always located in the school where the lab is located?
It just depends on what the programming looks like for that day. We are kind of testing out having some students come in during the school day. Originally, all of our programming was done after school, but we're also working with Birmingham Promise, and some of those students have to come during school hours. So with this expansion, we'll have JO where those students can actually go and work at that high school greenhouse. And so we're very excited about the opportunities there. They are working in the fields. They're doing workforce development trainings. They're working with our staffs. It's a very inclusive internship.
Thank you, and I'm glad you did answer my next question was going to be, is this in conjunction with Birmingham Promise? So thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
Whether good school food has anything to do with the food that students eat at school.
That's a good question.
We would love for that to happen, but we are going to have to work really hard with our CNP program to make that a reality.
Okay, that was really my only question.
But our students do get free food from our sites. And we also distribute our food for free on our markets that we have once a week between April and November.
Well, that's good to know. And another little known fact is that Jones Valley Farm started over in District 3 on 10th Avenue South, where 2 houses had been demolished.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
y'all have come a long way.
Yes, we have, with the thanks of the city and the school system.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam
Perfect.
Chairman.
Mr. President?
Yeah, so since this program is going to be incorporating aquaponics, I'm assuming that there's going to be fish involved.
Yes, there will.
Okay,
We have
so-
some people very excited about that.
Yeah, and, I know that Jones Valley's teaching farm, is mostly centered around, growing plants and things. But, most of us consume protein as well, so happy to see that incorporated into the project.
Yes, thank you.
So with the learning labs, are you going to take existing classrooms and the greenhouses, is at the schools, like where in the
They
back?
will be inside of the schools in one classroom for each school. Outside of Bush Hills and JO, they will be in their current greenhouses.
Okay, perfect, okay, okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the aye is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 7. This is an agreement not to exceed $1,752,325 between the city and Professional Ambulance Sales and Service LLC, also known as PASS, an approved reseller of helping governments across the country buy a purchasing program authorized by the State of Alabama Department of Examiners of Public Accounts for use by the city for the purchase of 5 2025 Ford F550 vehicles in accordance with the terms of the contract.
Move the item.
Second.
Yes, Madam Chair. One correction on the item, it should say F450s instead of F550s. So, this item that's before the council and the committee is just for us to purchase 4 ALS units, advanced life support units for Birmingham Fire and Rescue using our ARPA dollars.
Okay, perfect. Council Abbott?
So these vehicles are fully, like, they've got everything they need to just be driven to the fire station and put into use?
Yes, my name is Julius Purifier. I serve as the Deputy Chief for Birmingham Fire. They fully stock rescue units for transporting patients.
Okay, well, you know, it just says 2025 Ford
That's just the chassis style.
F-450,
They
but
come with the box on it.
it's gonna have everything.
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't have to wait once it's
No,
bought,
ma'am.
it's yours.
Once they deliver it, it's ready to go.
Well,
The
that's
fleet,
good.
it goes to the fleet and the fleet take care of it and then they give it to us. So it'll be ready to go.
Well, I've always wanted to ask this question, so I'm really glad you're here. When,
ma'am.
I know we drive those vehicles just all over everywhere. Every time somebody needs to go somewhere, they call us. So those vehicles get a lot of miles on them.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you take the box
Yes.
off and put it on a new?
Yes, you can,
F-150?
they call it a remount. You take the box off a chassis and remount it on a new, apparatus, a new vehicle chassis. You take that box and mount it on a new truck.
Do we ever do that?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yes.
Just glad to know that.
Yes,
I've been
ma'am.
hanging around nursing homes a lot, and I see how often our people are coming to nursing homes, and I figure they're going thousands and thousands and thousands of miles all over the city, so
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. President?
Yeah, just to be clear, these are brand-new vehicles.
Yes, sir. Yes.
With everything, the whole ambulance, okay. Yeah, so about $350,000 apiece. Really glad that we can start to meet a portion of Chief Moon's request for new
Yeah,
vehicles.
this is just a portion.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't get too excited, Chief Moon. I know you're looking at it.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
that's perfect. Any other questions? Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the item has passed. Thank you. Next item is item number 8. This is for the city to complete a grant with ALDOT for grant funding from ALDOT's FY 2025 Rebuild Alabama Act Annual Grant Program to repave Lakeshore Parkway from West Oxmoor Road to Industrial Drive / Tom Martin Drive in the city of Birmingham with the total grant not to exceed $350,000 with $100,000 matching funds required by the city.
I
Move the
move
item.
approval. Second.
Chief?
Yes, Christina Argo come up to present.
Good afternoon. Christina Argo from the Department of Transportation. I serve as Deputy Director for Strategic Projects. So we are applying for $350,000 from the Rebuild Alabama Annual Grant that ALDOT administers to repave Lakeshore Parkway from West Oxmoor Road to Industrial Drive, also Tom Martin Drive on the south side. This is one of the smaller of the 2 grant programs that came out of the Rebuild Alabama Act. and can be used on any local road. This portion of Lake Shore is in really poor condition, and it's really the only portion of Lake Shore in Birmingham city limits that is in poor condition. So it makes sense for us to go after this regionally significant road and use the money. It's a really wide road, and so we really wouldn't apply our annual resurfacing dollars to a project like this because it would eat up so much of the budget. So this Rebuild Alabama grant fund makes the most sense for us to go after to repave this section of the road.
Okay, thank you. Madam Pro Tem? Very happy.
Very happy. Very, very happy. This is probably the second worst segment of roadway beyond what was on Jefferson Avenue. So this will be a major game changer for people who travel back and forth in District 7. So I'm very excited to hear this. I do remember at one point, I believe when President Obama was in office, part of that was paved when he came to visit Lawson State. So it's been a long time since this has had any type of work done on it. So this is then just to match the dollars, or what are we doing here in order to go after this?
That's right. We're applying for $350,000, and then we would ask for $100,000 in local match that comes out of our gas tax rebate accounts.
Okay, thank you very much. That is my only question. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Counselor Abbott? Okay, Mr. President? Well, congratulations. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is for the city to complete a grant with United States EPA as authorized under U.S. Code of Federal Regulations to grant funding from EPA's Solid Waste Infrastructure for Recycling Grant Program to distribute recycling bins to neighborhoods, implement school-based recycling programs across BCS, and the deployment of mobile drop-off trailers to improve access for residents without curbside services, with a total grant award not to exceed $5 million with no matching funds required by the city for 3 years.
Move the item.
Good afternoon. I'm
Afternoon.
Adrian Stitt, and I serve as the Director in the Grants Division in our Finance Department. And with this grant, the Swiffer application, we are applying for the grant where we can receive recycling dollars. This is a combination effort with PEP, with Public Works, and it'll be with equipment management. We're using it. We would like to use the funds if received to get bins, do a school program, and trailers to be utilized for those residents in the city of Birmingham that does not have access to our recycling program.
Perfect. Okay. Counselor Abbott?
Oh, I'm so enthusiastic about this. How can I help? To me, this is just a great idea, and I'm particularly, I like the idea of getting these things in the school system so that students will grow up knowing the importance of recycling. As I drive across the city, I see so much recyclable material in people's garbage cans, and it just makes me angry. I want to jump out of my car and grab it, but my car is too little to fill with recyclables. So the deployment of the mobile drop-off trailers is quite excellent, and I was wondering if y'all could tell, if you get the grant, where will you put the trailers? Do you have a plan?
So currently, at the moment, we do not, sorry, I'm Josh Yates, I serve as the Director of the Department of Public Works. Currently, I don't have a location map for where those trailers would go. We would obviously look at a lot of our very populated areas. A lot of our neighborhoods are gonna have at-the-curb recycling. So we would look at more of our populated areas and, of course, get the school systems involved as well. So really kind of looking at populated areas to drop those off. Over 4 units and all.
Well, I know you have the drop-off trailers for trash and brush and other mess that people have at their homes that they want to deliver to you. is there any chance that they would be in those same north, south, east, and west locations? Or are you going to try to put them like downtown for all the people in the high-rise condos to get rid of their recycling, or?
Primarily would be in the downtown area, because we are going to the curb for everybody in our neighborhoods. But we can look at having them at our districts as well. It hasn't been set as far as exact locations of them, so that's still up in the air.
Okay, and one last question, the RFID-enabled recycling bins,
Yes, ma'am.
those are the same ones that those of us who have a blue recycling bin are
That's
having.
correct.
Ours are RFID
Yes, ma'am.
bins also, so you can tell whose is whose and whether we put them out in time and all that.
Yes, ma'am. It's just like a VIN number on a car. It's associated with your address. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. And okay, are you using the RFID scanners now, or is that coming in the future?
That's primarily coming in the future. Right now, we utilize them essentially to make sure we know where the carts belong, if we need to locate the carts or know where they go. But we're not fully engulfed in that just yet. Our routeware software that we're utilizing can and does have the functionality to do that on our trucks when we go by, but we're not using that just yet.
But once you start using it, you can tell when people have swiped other people's cans and you can bring them back?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's so nice. We have a lot of theft of garbage cans. You know, I guess people need two, so they just take somebody else's one. Anyway, it'll be good when they can find them and repatriate them.
Is that it? Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. I am excited to see this. I know Councilor Smitherman has been asking, since she's been a member, of how to bring recycling programs to our schools. So this would be a very good. I did just want to ask, let me stop here and say, also, I want to lobby if we could please put these in the districts, maybe the 4 quadrants. As Councilor Abbott asked, I just feel it would help our neighbors and help our neighborhoods if we could have something that's visible in the neighborhoods. I do just want to ask about recycling itself. Now, in this particular, the ones that you're going to move in, don't we have problems with the contamination of the different ways? So how would that work with the mobile units that you are planning to secure?
I will say that currently, everybody has the same contamination rate, whether it's us or another municipality bringing our recycle to, currently Birmingham Recycling Recovery, and that's usually about 30%. So that's a contamination rate that's across the board. And that's basically what they're seeing from everybody coming in. So whether ours is a little higher or a little lower than that, is something that they just kind of mix and mingle, and we get charged at 30%. Everybody gets charged at 30%. However, that's something that should be up for discussion and negotiation as we bring in more volume of recycling. So that's something we'll definitely be looking at, and the measures that we take in order to limit the amount of contamination, such as the closed bin carts, drop-off locations with those trailers have the lids on them as well. So really trying to reduce that contamination, we should be able to have more negotiation power to reduce that contamination rate.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. President?
Yeah, so, this council likes to talk trash. So I'm resisting the urge to launch into a bunch of questions. But just wanted to echo the comment about targeting areas with higher concentrations of multifamily dwellings, because we don't service them for recycling. So that's an important consideration. If you could just give me a 1-sentence response to this question, because this is a little bit of a digress, but anyway, we're in the midst of working with partners to help us on route optimization. Kind of in percentage wise, on a scale of 1 to 100, where are we in terms of, completing that project?
In terms of the routes have been created. We are in the process of essentially training our drivers. We've trained them a little bit so far, but we need to train them more as far as how to actually work the system as they go throughout. The equipment's installed, the routes have been essentially ran and optimized. And we're getting really close to that edge where our drivers are learning the system. And then we'll be able to go full speed ahead with it. So we're right there towards the end of this program as far as optimizing routes. In fact, I'm looking to try and get them all printed out per district and everything like that, just so we'll have a full copy moving forward. But it is something that we're getting right there close to the end. I would say 80%.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many schools do you think will be a part of this program? Are we trying to do every school, every elementary, middle, high school? That's good. And how many bands do you think we'll have? Or what are we shooting for? The number of bands, y'all know?
Well, yeah, we don't know at this
Okay.
time, because it's really gonna depend on how much money we receive.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to, adjust the budget accordingly
Okay.
and make that determination.
Okay. Is this our first time applying for this?
This will be our second time.
Second time? What happened the first time? Did they give you
Actually,
feedback?
they did not, we haven't, yeah, it was very competitive, but we
Okay.
haven't received the additional feedback yet.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Any additional questions? Counselor Abby, you look like, okay. All right. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank you, guys. Next items are the bold grant. Do you guys want to do it one by one? Y'all want that? Okay. Okay. Item number 10, this is for a BOLD program agreement with Bundles of Hope Diaper Bank through the BOLD funding program to help overcome barriers for Birmingham residents to economic opportunities by helping provide and expand diaper distribution and period product distribution in identified priority areas. By giving out an additional 100,000 diapers, 160,000 wipes, and 100,000 period products through direct service at the changing station, as well as developing new locations for a term of 12 months for an amount not to exceed 140,000.
I move approval.
Second, I see that they provided us with the
packet.
the packet. Were they gonna explain it all, or just we wanna take a?
You want an overview?
We do them as a group.
Do y'all,
They're all here, so we can go line by line, but I have a presentation that kind of goes over all of them, so however you want to do it.
It's up to you.
what's the pleasure of the committee? Counselor Abbott?
Well, we can do them together if all the questions are answered.
Well, I still want to hear from each organization.
And you can, but
Okay.
they're just all listed. as
Yeah,
you
that's
can.
fine, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
With them together, we might get enough answers to where some of them we didn't have to ask any more questions. It could happen.
Okay. Well, do you want to vote for them all in the bundle, or you want to vote one by one?
Let's see, procedurally, can we hear each one give us their objective, and then we could vote separately, but we just hear the conversation and the discussion as a
Okay.
group? Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
We'll give it a try.
Yeah, okay.
Or do the presentation, then have them each come up?
Yes.
Okay, cool beans. I can do that. So, good afternoon. My
Can I
name
do
is.
that?
We didn't do a motion a second.
Oh, I thought we did.
I made
Yes,
a
we did
motion,
too.
and
We
you made a
did.
second.
We did,
I think
we did, yeah.
I motioned and she seconded.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
So, good afternoon. My name is Monique Schwartz, and I serve as the Senior Program Manager for the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity, and this year's Program Manager for BOLD, which is Building Opportunities for Lasting Development. As you know, BOLD was created in 2018 by Mayor Woodfin administration because economic and community development serves people best when it's conducted in a transparent and competitive process. So we did an RFP, and that helped us to align our partner organizations with Birmingham's vision, fund as many partners as possible, leverage external funds that organizations bring to the table, increase our transparency in how we distribute our funds, promote collaboration between organizations and our communities, and also demonstrate return on investment for our taxpayer dollars. So over the past 6 years, we've invested over $13 million and funded more than 50 partners. This year's focus areas were small business, workforce development, how about, can you hear me now? Okay, so this year's focus areas were small businesses, workforce development, eliminating barriers, creative placemaking, and high-growth industries. So in alignment with Mayor Whitman's Vision 2025, we've also focused on Birmingham neighborhoods with 8 geographic priority areas. So East Lake, Inslee, 5 Points West, 4th Avenue Business District, Civil Rights District, North Birmingham, Smithfield, Illiton, and Titusville and Woodlawn. So this year's process is very competitive. It opened in August and it closed in September, and we had over 50 submissions. So we support applicants with weekly trainings, office hours, and thoroughly outline a timeline of what BOLD looks like. And after review of our written proposals by our staff and in-person presentations by our interdepartmental committee review, we have finalists to present today. So all of our finalists today are minority or women-led organizations, majority are neighborhood-based and or neighborhood-focused organizations, and the projects collectively achieve a focus on all our BOLD objectives and all our geographic priority areas. So I can list those names out to you, and then I can hit the next slide.
Okay, and I see, which I think is important, the timeline, 50% of the funds will be given upfront, and then the remaining 50% will be given after the midpoint update presentation to the city council.
Correct.
When would, oh, never mind, it says in July.
It's
Okay.
in July, yeah.
Okay, gotcha, okay. But yes, ma'am.
So those finalists are Be Kind Birmingham, Better Basics, Breakthrough Birmingham, Bundles of Hope, KICA, Meds Plus, Momentum, Step by Step, and the Flourish, Alabama.
Is that it for your presentation?
That
Is that
again?
it for you? Or do you have anything else?
And so now I can just go through all of them.
Okay,
So that's
well,
it.
we'll just do it as we call up. So the first one is, Bundles of Hope.
Bundles of Hope.
Is there someone here? Hey,
Hi, good afternoon.
good afternoon. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and what you're proposing to do?
Yeah, so we're a basic needs bank. We provide diapers, wipes, and period products to families across Alabama, but we're located here in the great city of Birmingham.
Okay, all right. Madam Pro Tem?
Where are you located? Are
Right
you-
off Reverend Abraham Woods Jr.
That's
and
what I said.
15th Street.
I believe I volunteered there before with the organization before I retired. So how long have you been in business?
So we've been around for 10 years. We've been in that facility independent facility for about 3.5.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And this particular grant then would allow you to increase capacity or maintain the level? Are you hoping to help other residents or other people in Birmingham, or how you utilize this?
We would be increasing capacity.
Okay.
This would be our second year of funding, and so it would be kind of to build on that, what we built out with the housing authorities and with Birmingham City Schools.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And how do individuals become part of your program? Are they referred, or how do they know that your services are available?
So generally speaking, or for this program specifically?
For this program?
For this program, we do partner directly with the housing authority.
Okay.
So we've got relationships with them. They place monthly requests as they assess the need and come and pick those up and distribute them to residents in the community centers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Council Abbott?
Okay, well, I didn't understand that. So the services are only available to people who live in housing communities?
So for this program specifically, it's going to be our facility that's located right down the street, a couple blocks, and for the housing authorities. But no, we serve 47 Alabama counties, but this program specifically, it is for Birmingham residents in those locations.
Okay, so that's the new partner distribution locations are in the housing
Yes,
authority?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We,
I got it.
and I have a list, Collegeville, Illiton, Harris, Marks Village, Roosevelt, Smithfield, Todd Holmes, and Tom Brown.
Okay, thank you. And the qualifications to participate in the Bundles of Hope Diaper Bank, like what are the qualifications that a person has to meet?
we don't have qualifications as far as show me this to qualify. How we manage that is by partnering strategically. So we're assuming if families are in housing authorities, there's a need there for essentials.
But if they're not in housing authority communities, I mean, you said your services are available to everybody statewide, and so how do people statewide qualify? Do they all have to live in a housing community somewhere, or can they live in a house somewhere?
They can absolutely live in a house. So our statewide expansion, we partnered with the Alabama Coordinated Health Network. So those are moms who are on Medicaid. They are assigned case management. Those case managers partner with us. They come and pick up diapers when they're doing home visiting. They take diapers with them. So that's an example. So we really kind of partner with entities, nurses, case managers who are caring for families, that there's already been a needs assessment kind of checked off, and then we add the diapers, wipes, and period products on top of their services.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. President?
No, I love these guys. This is, if you ever have health fair, definitely reach out to Bundles of Hope. They'll be like the star of the show. You guys do formula products too, right?
We don't purchase formula, but if it's donated, we absolutely share that. We do books, we do toys, we do blankets, we do socks, we do toothbrushes at our facility. So that's not to all of our partners, but at our facility here, which is primarily Birmingham City residents, we are supporting families with more than just the diapers, wipes, and period products. So yes, I think at the health fair you're talking about, we actually had some medicine donated. So we had medicine and thermometers at that event. Yeah.
Okay.
All we got.
Is there a reason the villas at Titusville aren't a part of that list of housing?
There's not. This year is to expand in any housing authority that, yeah, there's a need. Specifically North, we've done a needs assessment for kiddos 4 and under. So North has a significant that we're not in. I've got Cooper Green, Kimbrough, and Roosevelt too.
Okay.
Yeah, that we'll use this funding to expand into.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm working with HUD to renovate the daycare at the villas, so that would have been a perfect, maybe for next year, that would be good.
Like 2025?
Yes, well, yeah, 2025, it should be done, August 2025.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, do you offer this in the schools for period products in general? You do?
We do.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Did you want to know the schools we're in or no?
If you want to, yeah.
Yeah, we're in Carver, Jackson, Olin, Parker, Woodlawn, and Winona.
Oh, that's good, because period products are very expensive. And I can't imagine being in high school trying to have that, so. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion? Yes. Was there a motion? Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank you. Next item is for the Momentum Alumni Program. And this is for 1 year for an amount not to exceed $68,200. Okay. Is there anything else we need to know about?
Would you like me to talk about just over 24, we were able to serve 50 women who, with the assistance of BOL and the funding that we received, the upward mobility and the salary increases for cohort 1 was around $215,000, which was a true economic growth for the city of Birmingham. And then cohort 2 has surpassed cohort 1 with economic salary increases and upward mobility of almost $250,000. So we're doing some incredible work with women who are underserved and under-resourced with the proven curriculum that we have in Momentum.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Councilor Abbott.
Where are you located?
Yes, ma'am. So our office, the Momentum office, is located in Pepper Place. But of course, with cohort 1, we were able to host those sessions at Creed 63, which was incredible. And then cohort 2, we host those sessions at Polaris in Woodlawn. And so we wanted to make sure that we offered, to all of those women who are in those areas and throughout the city of Birmingham.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. So you have had cohort 1 and 2.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
So would these funds be now for the third or the additional cohorts, correct?
Yes, ma'am, for 2025. And we had to turn away in '24 around 24, 25 women who were super excited about, having this opportunity. And we would be grateful to serve another 50 women in 2025 to have the same opportunity as the 50 women who just finished.
Okay. And your other cohorts, you said you were in Creed, what is it?
Creed 63.
And Polaris.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's sort of near downtown in, I'd say North Birmingham. Are you thinking of putting that, or trying to make it more regional within the city, like maybe having something on the western side of the city?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
just, how do you determine your location?
Yeah, well, we are following the guidelines of Bowl to make sure that we are hosting in the locations that are in the agreement. But I'm just truly grateful for, the partnership that we had with Creed and Polaris. And of course, now we're exploring other partners that we can have to just allow the women to have more of a broader perspective of all the things that are going on within our city.
Okay, because I apologize, I realize you have some geographic priority areas, and I do see one of those is 5 Points West.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Ainsley and that type area. Okay, and then how long, you said the program is a 12-month program, so each cohort, do they stay in the program for 12 months, or what's the
Yes,
time
ma'am.
frame?
So actually, it's 6 months. So we had, yes, it's 6 months. And so, again, cohort 1 met for 6 months, and then we had the graduation, which we held it at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, which was absolutely amazing. And then, of course, our graduation for cohort 2 is going to be this Saturday at the historic Woodrow Hall, and everyone's invited.
All right, thank you. This is just a, you're progressing into a time that's going to be very important and transformative for the state of Alabama. We have all these workforce development laws and programs that have been initiated, and so just the more that we can reach, especially this group,
Yes.
within this cohort, I know any type of training or opportunity that would be available would be most appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President?
Yeah, just one question. Do you guys have a particular focus area, or are you just focusing on general professional development skills? I'm wondering if there's like a sector of workforce development, like construction or office or.
Yeah, so we are following our, of course, our pillars, which are self-awareness, vision casting, action plan, and of course, connecting to community. And so we are really laser focused on the mission of Momentum, and that's advancing women in leadership. And with those pillars, and of course, with our facilitators, Kathy Boswell, Tanya Hill Allen, again, we had a successful 2024. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, so it's more general professional development.
Absolutely.
Soft skills, other things like that, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, what does your application process look like?
Yeah, well, we actually open applications for 2025, but it's similar to the same as 24. It's for any women who identify as underserved, under-resourced. It's a tuition-free, and we also want to provide and continue to provide a child care stipend because it's held on a Saturday, which are non-traditional business hours. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the application, GED, any woman who needs leadership development. And what I can tell you today, before I left the office, we were almost at 75 women who have already applied and are super excited about this opportunity.
That's good. Any more questions? Madam President?
I am excited to hear the child care. I was going to say two of the negatives are a lack of child care and lack of transportation. So you have hit on one of those that I think would be very important for this particular group. So thank you for incorporating the child care.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye, the aye passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one, this is with Med Plus Consulting to train 3 pharmacy-based community health workers. The initiative aims to onboard 60 participants for diabetes self-management education, addressing barriers to healthcare access and job creation for a term of 12 months for an amount not to exceed $116,495.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dr. Pauline Long. I'm one of the founders of Meds Plus.
And I'm Dr. Jennifer Campbell, also a founder.
So Meds Plus Consulting is an independent pharmacy and healthcare consulting firm right here in downtown Birmingham. And through our BOLD program, we've been able to train 3 pharmacy based community health workers. And so that means they have a dual role. They are community health workers and they receive all the training for that. As well, they will receive, we train them in our pharmacy as well. So they are licensed by the State Board of Pharmacy, and they complete the Alabama Pharmacy Association training so that they can be hired by a pharmacy and be able to address patients' needs from a community health worker standpoint. The second part of our project is we educate Birmingham City residents on diabetes self-management. So we know that, approximately 14% of our city has diabetes. Many of those people are uncontrolled, and that's primarily because they don't know how to self-manage diabetes. And so we take them through a 10-hour course where they learn self-management skills, healthy coping, healthy eating, physical exercise. All of those components are taught during this course so that they can improve their health outcomes. So that's kind of the duality of our program.
Perfect. Okay. Counselor Abbott.
Yeah, when I read this, I wondered, did the 3 people who are being trained, is there any crossover with the 60 people who are participating in the diabetes management?
Okay, when you say crossover, can you
Well, I mean,
clarify?
is there any relationship whatsoever to the 3 people being trained and the 60 people being educated?
Excellent question. So with the 3 community health workers, they're baked into the diabetes self-management and education program. So we'll have a class 1 week. The community health workers are there engaging with the participants. The week that we're not in class, the community health workers are reaching out to the participants one-on-one if there's any other resources that are needed, any other clarifications from class, technical assistance that may be needed. So we have them built into the program specifically for that purpose.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that because diabetes to me is one of the most diabolical diseases you can have, and everybody, no matter how wealthy they are or how whatever, everybody needs help.
Absolutely. And I'll just add this little tidbit that the first class that we teach, I changed it around intentionally, which is healthy coping, which most people don't realize. The reason their results or outcomes are not where they are is because a person with diabetes has to make over 100 decisions in a day, and they have what's called diabetes distress, and they don't realize that that is stressful. Their family members are stressful. The doctor is stressful. Everybody's shouting commands at them, and it's stressful. They almost want to draw away and not let anybody know they have diabetes. So how do you cope with that, and how do you get therapy help? So
That's awesome. Okay, Mr. President.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could tell us just a little bit about the AI-driven remote patient monitoring technology.
Yes, thank you for that question. So we're very excited to partner with an organization that actually came through the Prosper Health Tech Accelerator, a company called Revela Health, who's now located here in Birmingham. But this company has an AI-generated technology where we can remotely monitor the patient's blood pressure and their blood sugars at our pharmacy. So each recipient or each participant receives a glucose meter as well as a blood pressure meter. And when they use that at home, we're able to get their results in our pharmacy. Our pharmacy staff can see those as well as the community health workers. And so we can coach these participants real time on how to improve their blood sugar. For example, we had people they'll come in with the readings of 400 300 for their blood sugars. And we're like, what did you have for lunch? What did you have for dinner? And because it's real time, I mean, we don't monitor it 24 hours a day, but we check it several times a week. We can discuss and pinpoint foods that are increasing their blood sugars, lack of activity that's causing their blood sugars to go up. And when we do that, by the time they get to their next doctor's appointment, their A1C has been lowered because they've had real-time monitoring and coaching for their blood sugar. And so that's what the program does. Remote patient monitoring is what it's called.
One other thing I would just like to add, since you mentioned AI specifically, so how the program was built is we call the patient and the call is recorded. So the AI-driven, it actually will let you know how well the conversation went based upon the questions you ask, how the patient responded. Sometimes we can't read between the lines, but AI can, and say you may need to follow up with food resources based on what the patient said. There may be transportation issues or other socioeconomic factors, and then that helps us to build a care plan to follow up with the patient so they get the holistic care.
Right. That sounds great. And it sounds like, this is a good investment for reducing, overall health costs and especially, the burden on our first responders. So it's good.
Okay. What are the locations of the classes? Where are the classes being held?
Yeah, so this year they'll be held at the North Birmingham Library and Renew Birmingham in Inslee. Those were the two geographic priority areas that we chose.
Okay.
2024, we were in Titusville and 5 Points West.
5 Points West.
Okay. How much of this is going towards salary? Is there any of this going towards salary?
Yes, about 20% of it is going towards the salaries for the community health workers.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that because sometimes we'll have funding and 50, 60, 70% will go to salary. So I'm happy to hear that. Are there any additional questions?
I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I did have the question. I really thought Ms. Abbott was going to ask that part about, I was trying to figure out about the salary, the distribution of the expenses. So that's important to me. And you said this is your second year
Yes,
as a
ma'am.
BOLD recipient or going after the BOLD grant?
Yes, ma'am.
And I do want to thank you all. I think I'm familiar with you. I believe you came to Winona during the pandemic and you actually gave out some COVID shots. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All over Birmingham.
Yes, we were everywhere.
I remember y'all that day because I thought you were going to give me a shot. Thank you.
you.
Okay, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the aye passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Item 13, this is with the Be Kind Birmingham, delivering essential resources directly to communities through partnerships with libraries and other local organizations, focusing on Birmingham's most vulnerable population with a goal to serve 7,500 individuals in 2025. For a term of 12 months for an amount not to exceed $86,350.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Griffiths. I am founder and executive director of Be Kind Birmingham.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else we need to know?
Just that right now we are in 8 of the 16 libraries across Birmingham. I believe we extend into 32 neighborhoods. We are a mobile pop-up store because we found a ton of people did face transportation barriers. And so we take the resources directly to them through the libraries. We do pop-ups weekly on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so we do 8 to 12 pop-ups per month.
Okay, thank you. Madam Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. Is this your first time with BOLD or is this
This is our first time, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And when it says that you provide these essential resources, are these new or slightly used, or how do you come about your resources?
A mixture. So we have a lot of community partners that donate in kind. We have boutiques around Birmingham that give us very nice clothing, brand new. A lot of our gently used, we go through it multiple times. If it has a stain, a tear, anything, it gets thrown out. All of the toiletries and cleaning supplies that we distribute is brand new. The only things that we would be giving away gently used is maybe some of the clothing.
Okay. And I know you have your pop-up services. Tell me a little bit about the access to mental health services. What does that encompass?
So this year we are adding mental health. I lost my brother in March to suicide, and so mental health has become a huge aspect of Beacon Birmingham. And we found that a ton of people are just hurting and need some help. And so Dr. Tania Swain is a counselor with Little Einsteins, and she has come on board. And anyone who attends our pop-ups, they will have access to her free counseling sections through us, free of charge. If they cannot make it, we will be able to provide funding for their transportation to get there as well. She will do group sessions on Saturdays, and then she will also offer one-on-one sessions to anyone who feels like they need that extra help.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
Counselor Abbott?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So at eight of 16 libraries, the pop-up truck comes on Wednesdays and Saturdays and it's full of all this stuff?
Yes, ma'am. So we do have a bus, but it's been down, and we're raising money to get to it, but we haven't let that stop us. So we're continuing to do it. We load our car and we take it out to the libraries. We set up in the libraries. We take clothing racks, hang everything up, make it like a little store. The community can come and shop free of charge for whatever they need. And it's advertised through the libraries. We partner with over 100 organizations here in Birmingham. We have become a big clothing closet for most of those organizations. First Light, Women's Shelter, they direct all donations to us, and in return, we keep their smaller clothing closet stocked. We provide for Helping Families Initiative through Dandy Carr, Jefferson County Family Resource Center, all of their social workers, if they have a need for something that we may have, they reach out to us. And we get the box together and drop it off with them.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm just glad to hear that you guys are working with other organizations that are serving the same population. There's plenty of need in this, arena. Hopefully we can start moving some people towards, supportive housing and permanent housing, so, great.
Definitely, and I know we've done some work together too, so I'm happy to see you get the support, so. Will there's been a motion and a second? All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 14 is through with Better Basics, and this is to help rising kindergartners and preschoolers receive free early education and intervention programs, language and pre-literacy development, serving 7 child care centers in low-income areas of Birmingham for a term of 12 months for an amount not to exceed $36,634.65.
I move approval.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Catherine Goodrow, representing Better Basics, and thank you all. Our proposal today is, again, to support 7 child care centers in under-resourced areas of the city. Our program focuses on hiring highly trained, highly skilled, certified teachers and having them provide intervention services for 12 weeks to every 4- and 5-year-old child in those 7 participating centers, with a goal of sending each child to public school kindergarten ready. There's a lot of research out there that shows about 40% of our kids are entering kindergarten 1 to 3 years behind. 75% of them will not catch up to their peers. So our goal here is early intervention, kindergarten readiness, and that everyone shows up to their first day ready to learn and succeed.
Okay, that's awesome. Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, is all of this done at city schools, or do you have locations where people bring their children, or how does it actually work?
Sure. We work with the partner child care centers. So we go to the center, we send our teachers there. This would be 7 centers, so we're going where the children are already participating in some type of daily child care. Better Basics has been in Birmingham for 31 years, and we're partnered with 23 of the Birmingham City Schools for elementary intervention, but this is a newer program of Better Basics focused on sending them to school ready by being in the child care centers.
I guess that made sense. You wouldn't be seeing them at school since they're not in school yet.
That's right.
So, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Pro Tem?
Just wanted to follow up. You have certified teachers that are part of the program?
Yes,
Is that what
ma'am.
you said? And how many would you have for this particular one?
So it depends on the size of the center, because we have a very intentional small group model, so we never want teachers working with more than 12 children total. With these 7 centers last year, that was 144 kids, so that can be up to 12 teachers. But we'll always ensure, based on the number of 4 and 5-year-olds enrolled, that each teacher is serving no more than 12 children in groups of 3 to 4 or even less, so they get that really heavily focused one-on-one or small group intervention.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. President, sorry, Council Abbott.
Oh, well, I just wanted to ask if you had a cadre of volunteers to help with those 12 children per teacher, because I'm thinking about 12 preschoolers and what I would do with them. And I would, my hair would be standing on end. So do you have some volunteers that come in and also?
The way we work with the program, we're pulling children from their current child care classroom. So the teacher would go into the classroom and pull 3 or 4 children at a time only. The others in the classroom would still be participating in their typical, whether that be outside time, enrichment time, anything like that. So they just have small groups, 3 or 4, some teachers even individual if they need to. So they're in ratio of just 3 to 4. The other kids are with a child care center provider.
Good, 12 at once.
12 wouldn't work for me either. I have 1 and that's enough.
I volunteered at a daycare while I was in law school, and that was very interesting. So it was very hectic, y'all. So, Mr. President.
Yeah, so I've been hearing about Better Basics for as long as I've been doing community work. So am I reading this right, that Birmingham Basics is a Birmingham origin entity that, you guys started here, right?
Yes, at Barrett Elementary was our first school 31 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so I got the perception that you guys were like a national organization, or, but that's cool.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Did you name the child care centers that you were going to be servicing? What are the names of those?
I can, they're listed in the grant, but I'll pull them up for you. Just a second. These particular centers are J. Alex Child Development Center, Patty Cake Academy Inslee, Great Start Early Learning Center, Jump Start Academy Early Learning Center, Patty Cake Academy A, Patty Cake Academy B, and Metropolitan Day School.
Okay, perfect. And those are various parts of town?
They are.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've worked with you before, helping with my schools, and we've given out books together, so I really appreciate the work that you do, especially with the 3rd grade literacy program. We have to start in preschool to prepare them for that, so I really appreciate the work that you do. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next item is item number 15. This is with Breakthrough Birmingham. And this is to partner with highly motivated, underrepresented students in Birmingham to achieve post-secondary success. Offering one-on-one coaching and mentoring to 1st and 2nd year Birmingham teachers as well. Teachers are assigned a mentor/coach, a retired educator, from which they will receive weekly observations and coaching. And this is for a term of 1 year for an amount not to exceed $81,342.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Marion Michelle. I'm the Executive Director of Breakthrough Birmingham. And while people know us primarily as working with students, one thing we found a couple of years ago is the coaching model that we use during the summer, where we're training college students to be teachers during the summer, could also be applied to 1st and 2nd year teachers who need as much support as anybody else. If you've ever been a teacher in the classroom, you know that first year is especially one of the hardest situations to go through. And we've recognized that in the state of Alabama, more than half of the teachers do not make it to year 5. In Birmingham city schools, more than, I think, 60% don't make it to the year 3. And so what we're trying to figure out is how do we ensure that if our kids are going to win, that requires having steady adult presence from high-quality teachers who sometimes don't have certification yet. So what we try to do is essentially take what we've done during the summer and apply it to the school year, and going into schools working with those first and second year teachers, paying them a small stipend of a total of $3,000 over the course of 10 months to ensure that not only are they getting the observations and the debriefs that we think are required to just working with our coaches, but also getting PD time, professional development time, once a month altogether. So for us, not only is it helping support first and second year teachers, but we're also doing, those coaches are retired educators. So folks who have been in the classroom 20, 30 plus years, who are making sure that we are not losing out on knowledge, because long term what it means is sustainability for those individual teachers, but for a community what it means is sustainability, ensuring that students are not losing out on their reading and their math and their learning during the school day.
All right, perfect. Counselor Abbott?
Wow. Well, I just feel like what you're doing is pretty amazing, because I know people who didn't make it because they were just so traumatized themselves by being in the classroom. And so I think this is a great program. And, you know, maybe some of those folks could have been saved and, you know, they wouldn't have left teaching, which they thought they always wanted to do.
We think that while most people think of leadership taking place outside the classroom, you can build leaders within and keep that within a school community. I think that shifts culture in a school setting. I think there's so much that happens in the classroom that affects long-term the economic mobility in a community. And so we're just trying to focus on the thing that we do best, which is education. And I think keeping teachers in the classroom is the way to do it.
Well, and teaming them up with a mentor who is a retired educator means that they've pretty much seen it all and done it all, and that way they can really, you know, maybe take some of the stress and fear out of people who are, you know, struggling.
Yep. One of our big indicators is even making sure that by the time they leave their first year in the classroom, that out of classroom time, work time is cut down by 50%. So you're working more efficiently so that you're not bringing work home as much. Instead of maybe 10, 15 hours outside of the school day, maybe you're cutting it down to 3 or 4 hours a week, maybe that you're spending working outside of the school day. So it's small things like that that just, if someone who's been doing this for 30 years knows how to do that while maintaining quality in the classroom.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you very much. Hello, good to see you. My question is, I knew you're very successful with helping the students. So this is the first that I know of finding that your organization is going to gear this towards teachers and not student teachers. So let me ask, how as a teacher am I referred into this program, or how do I get to know that this service is out there?
Sure, so this is our third cohort. So we've been doing this now this will be our third year doing this. It started off by friendly principals who let us in and just, you know, took a chance on us. And now it's a lot of referrals. So we go into schools, we recruit during the fall so that we start in the spring with them. We work January through May for the first semester, really understanding who they are. And then you take your summer break, and then we come back with them during the following school year. And part of that is incentivizing them to return to the next school year. And normally what we found, so for the first two cohorts, we have 95% of them who've stayed in the classroom. And so we think that and they are coming out as lead teachers, they're coming out as teachers of the year. So for us, it's a good sign that they're invested in their future in the education portion. And I think with this cohort, cohort 3, it'll be at least 400 students that are impacted directly if we're about 25 kids per classroom. So we think that we're going to be impacting long-term students in the schools that we're working in.
Well, I think this is great because I know there's certain professional development dollars that are budgeted each year, and so that was just my question. Would this go towards that, or is that something they could have in addition to?
So this would be in addition to.
Okay.
So the stipend is in addition to, the PD is in addition to. It's stuff as sometimes as small as just like how you're setting up your classroom to be efficient. Sometimes it's as big as how to use AI to be more successful with the quality of lessons that you're delivering.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. President?
This is awesome. So I happen to be married to a former educator who made it a few years in a preschool classroom with 16 four-year-olds. Pretty high stress environment. So yeah, these teachers, you know, need a lot of support for sure. Glad to hear it.
Okay, how many teachers are you planning to service? What's your goal?
So this will be 18.
18.
And then 12 of them right now are we've just actually completed the interviewing process. 12 of them are coming from the priority areas.
Okay. And how can teachers apply to be a part of this? Because I know you said first you worked on referrals.
So when we go into schools, we ask principals to let us know who are the first and second year teachers and
Gotcha.
those who don't have a certification. So part of the other portion of our process is trying to make sure that they are getting their emergency certification turned into actual certification by passing, especially the praxis exam, so providing those additional supports.
Okay. And I know my niece and nephew have gone through your summer camps, and I've seen the work you've done with kids to make them engaged in learning. That's really hard. 13, 14, 15-year-olds actually want to learn. And then I know you have during the school programming as well. So I know whatever you're doing is working, and so I'm happy to support you. Okay. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Next item is with the Hispanic and Immigrant Center of Alabama to expand support for Hispanic and Latino entrepreneurs, increasing the number of small businesses served within the city limits by 25% for a term of 1 year for an amount not to exceed $95,240.
I move approval.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Gloria Glasgow.
And good afternoon. My name is Rafael Gonzalez. I am the Programs Director at HICA.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to share about your program?
Yes, I would like to start sharing that HICA has existed since 1999. 25 years we're celebrating this year, and since 2012, we have supported the launch of over 300 small businesses. 90% of one are still operating successfully because we also provide technical assistance and education for them to continue operating in a sustainable way. So with this proposal, we are trying to focus more in the city of Birmingham businesses, the small businesses located in the city that can succeed also in this area.
Madam President Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Well, I thank you very much. I'm very familiar with the services that you provide. So this particular grant then would allow you to expand, or what are you trying to do specifically? Just bring more entrepreneurs into the program or sustain what you already have?
Yes, ma'am. Bringing more entrepreneurs in the city of Birmingham particularly, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it, madam.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, do you have any questions? So I just have one, and that is, okay, you're helping these Hispanic and Latino entrepreneurs get into business and stay into business, but how do you do it? Do you have classes, classroom classes, or do you stop in and observe their business and see how they're doing? I mean, what do y'all do?
We start from the very beginnings, from the ideation. We accompany the entrepreneurs to refine their business idea. We can provide that in-house or with the support of third parties, experts in their fields, but we also teach them or provide classes regarding accounting, legal services, contracting, industry standards, for example, for industry services related or for construction, but we partner with experts in their fields to provide these services.
And then the people from the business license division of the city of Birmingham, I'm sure you send them to them.
Absolutely. They have been wonderful partners with us.
It always amazes me how many contractors I talk to and I say, you have a business license, don't you? And they look at me with a totally blank face, and I can tell they don't. So that, that's an important thing from a city standpoint, is for people to actually be licensed businesses. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's your turn.
Okay, it's my turn. I think you already said the kind of support and programming you give to the business owners. Is that correct?
Yes,
Did you say already? Okay, can you say that again? I missed that one.
Yes, it's technical assistance in the form of training and education with experts in the field, with a focus or a lens on cultural and linguistically relevant services.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Chief, what for the BOLD programming? Y'all can go. What are the reporting requirements of each recipient?
For the reporting, you look
look in your slides, you'll see on the timeline, I think it's July 15th, April 15th, July 15th, so it's every quarter. And the requirements of what they said their goals are. So for example, HECO wants to distribute $75,000 worth of loans to small businesses, but we'll track that every quarter. So whatever their goals are, their metrics are tracked through Airtable every quarter.
And then the compliance part will be handled by IEL in conjunction with OCA with the terms of the agreement.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, thank you. Item number 17, this is with Step by Step Foundation to empower underserved youth and student athletes by providing resources in academic preparation, career training, athletic training, personal development. This is for participants ages 14 years and older, offering career readiness, mentorship, job placement, and also this will be for a term of 1 year, not to exceed $68,000.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How y'all doing? Yeah, through this program, we work with people outside of athletics, making sure we present career development opportunities, also taking them on college visits and further enhancing opportunities for them outside of the game of sports. It's about 3% of athletes that actually acquire jobs right outside of athletics. So being able to work with them and do mock interviews, like I said, taking them to college visits, partnering them with local businesses to be able to have internships, have helped enhance their opportunities on having jobs outside of sports when they're done.
Okay.
Can you tell us your name?
Leonard Stevens,
Leonard
the founder.
Thank you. Councilor Abbott?
So, in reading this, like, is your big focus on teaching young people that athletics are a great thing to aspire to, but in real life you might need something to fall back on in case you don't make it?
So it's not even a might. So honestly, athletics is a tool to get you to where you're trying to get to. So outside of athletics, athletics is going to end at a certain period of time. So what have we done to further enhance your opportunities to be able to make a smooth transition from sports into the career, your particular career field?
Good, thank you. Because I know a lot of people aspire to be a great football player, but there's this tiny little bitty percentage
1%.
that actually make it, and everybody else is disappointed. So you're giving them something to not be disappointed about. So that's good. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you. And that was Leonard Stevens, Mr. Stevens?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hi. I just want to know, with this particular program, you say this particular funding will empower 50 underserved
50 to
students?
75, yes.
50 to 75. And is this your first year as a
It is.
bold applicant? All right. How is your program, how is this going to improve? How long have you been doing this program prior to bold?
Prior to Bowl, we've been doing this since 2017.
Okay.
So since 2017, we've been able to help 260 athletes actually obtain jobs, but at the same time be able to equip them through the interview process, how to properly dress, also be able to partner with different local businesses where they can go in and work and partner with local alumni from different city schools that they come in and they're actually working in particular career fields and able to help, say, a kid from Parker High School who's a graduate of Parker High School. They're working with alumni in particular career fields such as HVAC, electrical, and things of that nature.
Okay. And how does a student become a part of this program? What's the referral? You said, I know you're working with the alumni, but.
So we do referrals, but at the same time, we do have clinics. So we come in with a clinic and we actually go in and we partner with local high schools and we get with the head coaches and the athletic directors to actually refer us certain athletes, student athletes to come in.
Okay. And do you go to the schools to provide that training, or do you have a?
No, it's located inside of the facility, the training facility.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. President, you don't have anything? Okay, what are those local organizations that you have been partnering with as far as the kids?
As far as local businesses,
Yes,
so a lot
sir.
of our local businesses such as Green Acres, we have a barbershop right down the street on 4th Avenue with Green Acres. We partner with Alabama Power, we partner with Birmingham Youth Services, and we've also partnered with Target and Walmart, and also Birmingham Coca-Cola Bottling Company.
Okay, have you looked into partnering with Birmingham Promise possibly? Do you have any kids that go through there?
We do have kids partnering with Birmingham Promise. Yes, we do.
Okay, and do you have any additional sponsors for your program to help you with this?
I don't,
You don't? Okay.
outside of myself.
And then how much of this is going towards salary or programming?
There's only $24,000 going towards that, and that's for the mentors, an intern, project manager.
Okay, perfect. Okay, anyone else have any additional questions? Okay, is there a motion?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you. Next item is item number, we'll just go to 19. I don't think 18 is not bold, is it? Okay, we'll just skip to 19. It's with the Flourish, Alabama. This is for public art, cultural programming, and community-driven design planning to create over 50 jobs and provide workforce development for more than 140 local students from BCS, hosting concerts, artist showcases, wellness programs, and this is for a term of 12 months for an amount not to exceed $150,000.
Move the item.
Approval.
Second.
Hello. My name is Jamon Hill. I'm co-founder and executive director of the Flourish, Alabama.
Okay, is there anything else we need to know about your program?
Yes, the Flourish, Alabama, we are getting ready to enter year 6. We're 5 years old now. We have 3 major wings. We look at creative artist economic development, arts education, as well as creative placemaking, and you'll see those 3 wings addressed in our proposal today.
Okay, perfect. Madam Pro Tem?
I don't have any questions right
Okay,
now.
that's fine. Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, I wanted to know whether, do you go out and recruit artists first, or do you try to get businesses interested in sponsoring events like art shows and performances? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
In this case, it starts with the artist. So actually, our entire organization is created by and for artists. So one of the things that I noticed coming to Birmingham, Alabama, was that the infrastructure for artists that exist isn't as strong as it could be. And as a result, a lot of artists were being taken advantage of because they didn't know the different resources and tools that they needed. So we started with artists and figuring out how can we prepare artists to be in scenarios where a business might reach out to them or an organization might reach out to them and say, hey, we want to utilize you for this service. And as we know with the arts, there's a wide variety of what that service could be, whether it's a performance or it's the creation of a flyer or something as technical as the cameras here and, making the videos work, right? That's videography that goes into that. So we wanted artists to be prepared and understand that their services have value and help them to figure out how they value those services.
Okay, so the wellness programs sort of didn't fit with the art stuff. Is that just extra so that when you attract people to the artistic events, you have some other information that people are going to get that will help them?
So wellness,
or is there an art to wellness?
Yes, so wellness actually falls under the healing arts. So when you're looking at one of the great ways that you see this is art is therapy. That happens through not only dance, but also through writing, yoga, these sort of practices. We have a monthly yoga health and wellness event that happens the first Saturday of every month. So we look at that through the healing arts. A lot of times people don't recognize the arts element of it, kind of like with food, which is within the culinary arts. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm happy to see this as well. I was recently at the Magic City Fashion Week event and they made the comment that creatives are part of our economy, an important part of our economy.
Yes.
So I'm glad to see that you guys are making an investment in a often overlooked sector of our overall, economy. So, glad to see that we're nurturing, some folks to get into that line of work.
I'm excited to say that this upcoming year, we just started as a group of 4 artists. Once we hit fiscal year 25, we'll have invested over $1 million directly into the creative artist economy. So I'm just really excited that we've been able to put in the work and get to this point.
Okay, Madam President, I apologize.
Yes, thank you very much. I apologize, I wasn't ready when you first called on me, but I was trying to compare what's in our packet to what's actually on the agenda. So this is a great idea, and I love the program. I just wanted to ask, because you've got a workforce development component here, as well as just sort of awareness about arts for the public. So I guess I have to already be creative and have some type of skill before I get into this, right?
So with our workforce development program, we're actually going to be investing in artists that we've been working with over the last few years. And what we found was, like, as they come and work with the Flourish, there's things that we require of them, right? Where we're like, hey, we're going to need a W-9, you're going to need to sign a contract, these basic things. But we're learning, like, in other scenarios, they may not be prepared for this. So we designed this program specifically for them. It's going to be our pilot. The workforce development piece is going to be our pilot program. We're really excited for it. And we'll be taking, they'll be getting accounting services. They're going to be receiving marketing services as well. And for the musicians, free studio time. So we're basically setting them up so that they'll have a portfolio that they can leave with and be ready to enter the workforce as an artist.
I do like that as part of your program, because so often I could have the skill, I could have, the talent, but I don't have the work skills to go along with it, or the job skills that would help me to flourish.
Yeah, I like that, the use of that. But yes, it's very important for us.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, what's my question? What, I saw in the packet, you had the Inslee Creative Economy Initiative. What is that?
So our Inslee Creative Economy Initiative is focused specifically on the creation of our Black Arts District. So when we talk about creative placemaking, we're specifically located in downtown Inslee and are doing work specifically to bring people to Inslee. So that means, for example, our summer program, which takes place in Inslee, is bringing artists specifically to Inslee to do that work. That means the events that y'all hear about, the different events that we have take place in Inslee, bring people to Inslee. This past year, we brought over 2,000 people to Inslee, to that area. The year before, we were able to bring over 1,500. This year, we're hoping to hit 3,000 people to Inslee for different events. And this is coming from before there weren't any entertainment businesses in the area that we're at. So it's really cool to see the narrative around Inslee shift. And every time people come to our space, which is the greenhouse, they're like, man, I didn't know this was in Inslee, or, oh, I always thought this or this about Inslee. And we're really trying to shift that narrative with this kind of work.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know you didn't mention about the work you do in our prison systems.
Yes.
Juveniles. Can you, I know I went to the, I actually went to, they have a ceremony at the end with the kids, and it's amazing. So can you tell them about that program?
Yes. So we additionally, thank you for bringing that up. We have programming with the Youth Detention Center. So this started a year ago, and it was simply a summer program. This year we were able to do that not only in the summer but through the fall, where we're working with students on graphic design, with music, and then with creative writing. So a lot of times what ends up happening is it's just conversations with the students where they'll come into the music studio and they'll just talk, and it'll be an opportunity for them to open up. But we've also been able to create songs with the students talking about changes they want to make in their community, or how important unity is as a community. This past year, they've been learning DJing, which has been a lot of fun, something that they kind of discovered in the studio. And most recently, they actually created a calendar that is available for purchase. We partner with Mawu Greetings and Des Wilson to work with the students and create a calendar. And now those proceeds are going towards future programming at the Youth Detention Center. And it's something for them where even though they're on the inside and we can't, share their names or anything like that, their art has an opportunity to exist and live on the outside.
That's so awesome, and it was really good because a lot of them were able to express the trauma they went through, and it was really good. And there's actually really good music. They rap better than some of the rappers we have out with some hits. So and also we work together with the Black History Month program that I do at the Red Mountain Theater. So I thank you for the work that you do, and this is awesome. So do you guys have any more questions? Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. That item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we done? We're bold.
I am done, but I hope you guys are excited as we are about our finalists, and thank you for your time.
Oh, I like this round of recipients. It's very diverse. Thank you. You did a great job. Going to item 18, this is an agreement between the City of Birmingham and YMCA, an amount not to exceed $500,000. This will be in the form of a scholarship fund for families of the YMCA's Child Care Center of Excellence. And the YMCA operates in the Smithfield neighborhood in the City of Birmingham.
I move approval.
Good evening.
Sarah McMillan, I serve as Deputy Director within the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. And the item before you is to provide financial funding so that the YMCA, who is going to be the operator of the Early Learning Center and the the leading partner for the Child Care Center of Excellence that we're building, that's a collaboration between the Choice Neighborhood Grant as well as the Recompete Grant. They're going to be operating the center, and these dollars will be used to support students to be able to access the center.
I just saw item 30. Do you want us to bring that up too? Is that related?
Yep.
Okay. Item 30 is under which the YMCA will create a child care center of excellence serving infants through first class pre-K, based off of amendment number 772 and the terms of the grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration, and the amount not to exceed $888,793 for a term to end on or before September 30th, 2029.
Yes. So the YMCA is one of 5 agreements that are the first round of subawardee agreements for the Recompete Grant, which we accepted in October. Yes, yay, finally. So the full grant amount is $20 million. This funding allocation will essentially be the operating budget to stand up the center, as well as this is a 5-year grant period. So it's essentially this budget is the operations of the facility. The construction of the facility is being covered by Choice. And then the first item that's mentioned essentially kind of supplements this, right? In addition to the operations, which are covered in the Recompete Grant, the proposed ARPA funding would then make sure that residents within Smithfield Court, as well as residents within the 4 communities that we're serving in Recompete, can access the center. And the reason why this is so important is kind of twofold, right? A lot of what you've heard earlier is that early learning makes sure that students are prepared and essentially building our future workforce, as well as making sure that parents can actually access the workforce.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Madam President?
Very excited to see this as sort of the first steps towards this. So let me just be sure I'm clear. This is the combination of Recompete and the First Choice, is that what
Choice, yes.
Yes, okay. And this primarily then, as you were saying, this is more build out and operations at this point, or?
Yes, so the Choice funding is covering the place component, which is like the construction of the facility, and then Recompete funding will come in and like cover operational costs. So like buying all of the equipment, like the mini chairs that kids have to sit at, the parents can't fit, and making sure that we have all the supplies, hiring staff, hiring a director to actually run the facility.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Councilor Abbott.
So the reason that the recommended funding source is blank is because this is a grant these are grants from the federal government?
And is this referring to 18 or 30?
Both of them.
Okay.
One of them has a blank under funding source, that's number 18, and then number 30, item 30, says NA. So that's pretty close to blank. So
I'm not
why,
sure.
why is the funding source not shown?
It's on the agenda tomorrow. It's on the agenda tomorrow. Item 13 is ARPA.
Yeah, that one is ARPA, and I think the other one is part of the Recompete grant.
Okay, so maybe we could just say that instead of saying NA, because it makes it sound like we don't have any funding source. And we do have a funding source, it's just not us.
Okay, well, I have the agenda right here, so the funding source is GL 039_527-050, and project code is FIN 039RM99999, that's 5 nines, A_005_004.
So that's for both item 18 and 30?
No, let me find the 30.
So it's correct on tomorrow's agenda, it just didn't make it onto this agenda. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, well, you don't have to read it out again if it's somewhere.
Well, I need to find, I don't know, is item 30 on?
Item 30 is the recompete subaward agreement.
No, it's on the council agenda for tomorrow.
That item,
think so.
I don't.
Okay, no, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, well, we'll just look.
Well,
here, we can just-
I would like to suggest that we not have items on our agenda with no funding source in the future, and that way people will give us the funding source.
Yes, ma'am.
Or they'll be very sad.
Okay, perfect. Well, Laquita, if you'll just make that note to make sure the project funding is on there. It may have just been just a mistake since it was on the council agenda, so it's fine. We rectify everything.
Yeah, but if it's a real project, they'll give us the funding source.
Yes. Okay.
I promise.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem.
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Mr. President.
Yes, so currently YMCA Birmingham is operating a first-class pre-K program at the youth center downtown, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they also have a facility out east on the Roebuck Parkway area, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So I don't think we've said it explicitly yet, but this is for the old Graymont School in Smithfield. Is that correct?
No, this is a brand-new building that will be built in the Choice Neighborhood Grant. This is not the Graymont building. That's a separate thing that community development is working on.
Okay, like the new building that's going to be built on the same piece of property that the old Graymont School is in?
That I'm not sure what the location will be.
Okay,
Is it possible to get an answer by tomorrow? Okay.
yeah, okay.
Just pull off consent.
Yeah, because I thought Graymont School was going to be senior citizen housing.
Well, the new building is going to be senior citizen housing, and I think they will have some residential units in the old building too, but I was under the impression that we were going to have a pre-K program co-located there as well.
Yes, that's correct. So the center will be like a full early learning center, and the YMCA is currently running childcare programming and serving our region, but they do not currently have a like full day child care center. And so this will be a full day child care center serving infant through pre-K. So there will be a first class pre-K classroom.
So I'm getting updates. Yes, it will be on the same site as the JCCEO.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
And definitely have pre-K.
all right, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Okay, are there any additional questions? Was there a motion to say? There was a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I don't think we got one for 30. So item 18 passed. Can we have a motion and second for 30?
I move that we approve item 30.
All in favor say aye. Aye, that item passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 20. This is an agreement between the city and 16th Street Baptist Church. This is with rehabilitating the building, guided by a historic structure report and consistent with its designation as a National Historic Landmark. The city desires to support the project under ARPA in the amount of $50,000 to support the design expense of the project, an additional amount of $150,000 to support installing a commercial kitchen for a combined economic development incentive of $200,000.
I move approval.
Okay. Good evening.
Good afternoon again. All right, Chris Hatcher, I serve as the Chief Community Planner in the Mayor's Office. Just to, recap, this is to support the development of 16th Street Baptist Church's new Visitors and Education Center. It'll be a 2-story, 13,000 square foot building that's located adjacent to the historic 16th Street Church Sanctuary and Parsonage. Some amenities to the new facility will be a commercial kitchen, dining area, overflow space for visitors and tourists that are, visiting the sanctuary. So it will be definitely an improvement to the district.
Okay. Councilor Abbott.
Oh, well, so is this going to become an event center?
They will have meeting space, but the meeting spaces will be not just you can rent from anyone. They will be in line with the, theme and nature of the National Monument District and, the historic fabric of the community.
Okay,
So
but
it's just not gonna be
the commercial kitchen is to serve the events that will come? I mean, why are we putting in a commercial kitchen in a church?
There is a component to it that's more of a education or a workforce development educational component where the commercial kitchen will be utilized. Unfortunately, I don't have all the details of that as we don't have a representative from 16th Street Baptist Church here today, but but the commercial kitchen will serve commercial uses for the entire new development. But like I said, I think one of the major components is to provide that economic development around culinary arts. And they're also going to have a restaurant. I was just informed.
Oh, well, now that would explain why we need a commercial kitchen.
Okay.
Maybe we could have somebody from CRI when we have a council meeting and they could show us a plan, because I'm trying to envision, and you've probably seen a plan, but I'm trying to envision this construction and how it will either complement or not complement the church itself, which is the icon.
Right. It's gone through a design process. I do know that much. It's gone through design review committee. They have approved the plans. So
where will it be? Is it in
It
the
will be-
parking lot beside the?
it'll be in the parking lot
Church.
between the parsonage and St. Paul. So there's a parking lot between the two churches. It'll be located on that parking lot.
And then where will people park?
There's a parking. That's a good question. I don't know, but there's plenty of parking in the area. They can park across 16th Street. There's a large parking lot in that area. There's on-street parking. There's parking behind the church. So there's plenty of parking in the area that can accommodate.
I mean, I know we changed our ordinance, said we didn't really need parking, but we all know the truth is we do need parking because people bring their cars with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to get out of the car.
Right.
And they want to leave it somewhere. So, and usually they're left scattered all over town. So, this is interesting. Maybe we could see the plans sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe planning and zoning could see the plans. Who knows?
I think this is just a funding component. It's been through the committee process. When it goes through, the proper, planning, zoning, development process, the plans will be presented through that normal process. But this is just to set the funding in place. So what will be now is more conceptual than anything, I would believe. Although it has been approved through design review for exterior.
Okay, and one other question. Where's the rest of the funding coming from? I assume you can't build a building for $200,000.
Correct. 16th Street, they do have an ongoing capital campaign for the facility, and plus, this church has been very adept at pulling down other federal grants, whether it has been from from their historic designation or other federal grants. So they've been very successful at that. So
Good. I just wondered if we were going to see this repeatedly.
not with ARPA dollars, you won't.
Well, no, ARPA dollars our time is running out on
That's right.
ARPA dollars.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you for that question, Mrs. Abbott, because I was going to mention, how does this compare to the capital campaign? I know the church was ongoing maybe a year or two where they were trying, is this the project they were working on, or is this things within what they were trying to get money funds
This
for?
fits within because they have this project, but the congregation, the church, they're always seeking funding for, it's a historic structure that needs continuous maintenance. So they're always seeking dollars to, maintain that structure, which henceforth is what I believe, and this is just my opinion, is why they're wanting to invest in this, because this is also, a good, revenue generator for them and will help them maintain long-term their historic facility without, having to always go hand in hand asking for dollars.
Okay, and one last thing, just to clarify for myself, the entire 200,000 is ARPA?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's out of two pots, $50,000 from District 5, and then $150,000 from the mayor's fund.
Perfect, all right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Mr. President.
Yeah, so I will, so Mr. Ted Debro, who I think we all probably all know, is the lead cheerleader for 16th Street Baptist Church, and I've asked him to get us some, like a slide presentation for the new building.
Yeah.
And the building is supposed to be, have space for, education and meetings and things, but it's also going to function as a visitor center. And so that's one of the things they want to do is have a restaurant along the lines of what you would experience if you went to the African American Museum in DC. So they have in that restaurant, all the food on the menu is references back to ancestry. And so that's kind of what they're looking at there, and the reason, why it would have a commercial kitchen in it. I also will make note, there's a capital campaign for the building, but they're at the same time, they're also raising money for actual operations of the facility. And it was just announced this afternoon that they were successful in securing $2.5 million for operations from the Lilly Foundation. So, and I know that they've already raised a significant amount for the capital side too. So, yeah, they're on their way.
Yeah, perfect. I was just about to ask if it was that visitor center that they're trying to expand out.
Right.
Well, that's going to be awesome. Okay, I'm excited to hear that. Okay. If there are any other questions, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The item has passed. Thank you. Next is item 22. This is between the city and Builders and Backers Studio. This is to help new entrepreneurs for a term of 1 year and an amount not to exceed $59,500.
Second.
Okay. We should have just kept you up here.
Monique Shorts again, Senior Program Manager for the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity. So what you have in front of you is builders and backers, if it sounds familiar, because it is. Last year, we ran this cohort, and we received 417 applications, and we only had 10 spots. So we selected 10 participants last year who had full-time jobs. So they had a passion, but they worked at 8 to 5. So they wanted to find a way to make their passion work, and we were able to do that. So some of our ideals included using cutting-edge technology to enhance learning retention, a social networking platform aimed at connecting educators and coaches with schools, and the successful creation of a CAD digital model that helped design a novel battery-powered coffee thermos. So those are ideas that came out of Birmingham. I want to let you know that they received remarkable results. So one participant secured a $25,000 grant and completed a prototype of that thermos. Another raised $5,000 through crowdfunding. Another joined another prestigious accelerator called EdTech. One hired an employee, and one established a thriving business. So we want to bring this program back to Birmingham. It's a 45-day virtual boot camp, 3 hours a week, because again, they do have full-time jobs, 45-day experimentation phase, 3 to 5 hours a week. So they go through problem identification, idea generation, experiment design, execution, and evaluation. So for 10 ideas this year, it's $59,500 to support them, and we're looking forward to seeing it again and seeing what they come up with.
Perfect, okay. Counselor Abbott?
So we're funding the IDEA Accelerator Program?
Yes.
Or we're funding the ideas that have been?
So these are new ideas.
These are new ideas?
These are new, so I just wanted to
these are
give you
the
what we
old
did last
ideas.
year. So those are the ones from last year in front of you. I just wanted to see what the fruits of the labor were from last year. It was our first time doing it, so I wanted you to actually see on paper who we had, what they looked like, and what they did. It was amazing to see them. Actually, they'll be in town. Some of them are coming in and out, but they'll be here tomorrow for like a happy hour to come into town, builders and backers. So just to kind of get them together again, because it was a virtual cohort, but they are here in Birmingham.
Okay, so once they come up with the ideas, what happens?
So they go through the program. So they have coaches and mentors, builders and backers, and so they go through these different phases. So identify the problem, get the idea, and they give them funding. So after you have this idea, they give them $5,000 to actually bring it to fruition. And they do that over 90 days.
90 days?
Over 90 days.
Wow.
Wow.
So they have to build these things.
Well, they have ideas. So again, they're at home and they're like, I have a full-time job, but I want to see what I can create. And so if you have a good enough idea, let's help you create that idea and see what it looks like.
Well, I think the coffee mug that'll brew coffee will be a big addition to all of us who have
And
these
she has a
long
prototype
meetings
now, so absolutely.
and need to stay awake. This is cool. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you very much. So this particular cycle, you expect 10 again, each person will get 5,000, or is that what your goal is?
It's still the same, correct. And so we'll do open applications up in February, and we'll ask for more ideas. We were overwhelmed last year. We had no idea we would get that many. And as a part of a national program, Alabama got the most idea requests at 417.
And in order to have an idea, is there a certain criteria of the type idea, or are we just looking for anything?
Industry agnostic, it's whatever you come up with.
Okay, all right. And how do you measure success now? You just, from these 10 individuals, was the fact that they generated an idea to a product or to?
So they applied, and then based on the idea in front of you, they applied with that idea. And so after 90 days, they were able to get this prototype, and they kept going. So we were like a stepping stone to get them going to do other things.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we can bring up items 23, 24, 25, and maybe 26 together. Is that right, Chief? Okay. 23 is, that's actually the recompete grant. And this is Ed Farm. They will design and install a community innovation hub in partnership with the Birmingham Public Library at the North Birmingham Public Library branch. This is an amount not to exceed $213,471 for a term ending on or before September 30th, 2029. item number 24 is with Lawson State Community College. And they will serve as a connector for workforce development. And this is an amount not to exceed $2,295,757. Same term agreements. This is item 25. It's for Prosper Foundation. They will launch and operate a physical front door for business growth with a focus on Black and other minority businesses. An amount not to exceed $5,549,945. And then item 26 is the ordinance to amend the grants fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 by appropriating, this is supposed to be $20,239,066. It's supposed to be a comma instead of a period to IEO for the recompete grant per awards received. Okay.
Hello again.
Hello.
Sarah McMillan. I serve as Deputy Director in the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. And was item number 31 included as well?
Yes, I apologize. We can do item number 31. I missed that one. And that is with the recompete as well. That's Birmingham Jefferson County Transit Authority will establish and implement the consolidation expansion of the 23 North Birmingham and 40 Fairmont bus services, scaling the Birmingham On Demand microtransit service to connect these residents through 2 microtransit zones in North Birmingham and Pratt Inslee. This is an amount not to exceed $1 million.
Yes.
Is that it? Okay.
Awesome. So also to confirm, I believe, kind of circling back to the initial question, item number 26 is the funding source, which is why it probably hasn't been filled in under the sub-awardee agreements, as that ordinance is also on the agenda. 26 is the recompete funding. So as a reminder, recompete was a grant program issued by the EDA. It's a distressed area recompete plan. Distressed is measured by the amount of residents between the ages of 25 and 54 who are not participating in the labor force. So essentially, folks who are able-bodied and should be flooding your workforce that are currently sitting out, they're not necessarily covered in unemployment. These are folks that are completely out of the workforce. And so our plan is to serve 4 specific communities, starting with North Birmingham, Northside, Smithfield, and Pratt. So all of the activities, while they will not exclusively serve only those neighborhoods and communities, that will be the target market. And so the plan itself is a workforce development program, but it's also focused on eliminating barriers. And so the first project within that is, so that's the recompete plan. And then the initial round of sub-awardees that are before you is just the beginning. We anticipate there will be other sub-awardees, but these 5 sub-awardees, one that you have already approved and the other 4 that we're talking about now, will essentially help us to accelerate and start spending down the funding immediately. And so the first, would you like me to go through all 4 of them now, or do you want me to pause? Any questions?
You can go through all 4.
Okay, awesome. So Lawson State Community College will provide a lot of the traditional workforce training programs. A lot of those programs will be focused on getting people to work immediately. And so there's a lot of short-term and credential programs. We'll be offering some GED programming, but essentially it's really employer-driven, and that's why Lawson was chosen as a partner, is their relationship not only with industry and business owners, but their relationship in the community and people feeling comfortable. And so not only will they offer classes at Lawson State, but they'll also be able to offer classes remotely or in other locations as well. So that's what Lawson's going to be doing. Also within that first workforce development kind of component project is Ed Farm, and this is one we're really excited about. So essentially all of Ed Farm's funding is going to reimagining 2 community spaces at the North Birmingham Library. So if you've been to the North Birmingham Library recently, and it's a wonderful, beautiful library and really a hub for that community, The training room or that boardroom, as well as that room that's directly next to it, will be completely renovated. New furniture, new equipment, computers, really fancy computers. There'll be a podcasting station and a lab, and it will really be, not only will we be able to offer actual trainings that we're standing up and recompete at the North Birmingham Library, but it'll be a community space for folks that are going to be there and accessing the library. It'll be free and open for them to use as well. Prosper is leading our fourth component project, which is we're standing up we just changed the name of it and I'm blanking on it, but it's really centered on standing up a physical front door for Black, minority, and underrepresented businesses to grow and thrive. And so what they'll be doing is a lot of connecting and convening of Black business stakeholders as well as Black businesses, under the assumption that if Black and minority-led businesses can thrive and grow in our city, they can grow and become employer agencies. And so essentially, like, how do we have a lot of offerings that are currently in the market, and so how do we create a hub so that business owners can go to and they know how to access all of that information, and not just for micro businesses, but we're really focusing on within this project, how do we support construction firms, how do we support childcare businesses, so that it kind of ties into some of the other work we're doing. BJCTA, which was mentioned, where this is another barrier elimination strategy, so focusing on how do we make sure that those four communities that we're serving, that quite frankly in a lot of cases are very proximate to the city core where a lot of the jobs are throughout the region. How do we make sure those folks have access to good jobs and can get there on a regular basis? And so we're partnering with BJCTA, who's going to expand the existing microtransit program to make sure that we can serve more neighborhoods. And within that strategic plan, we'll also be able to support minimizing or reducing or merging a couple of those fixed routes, so that I think the term in transportation lingo is reducing headways, and so the amount of time that people are waiting for the bus. So essentially making transportation to those communities not only accessible and affordable, but something that works for people. So Ed Farm, Lawson, Prosper, BJCTA, that's it. Any questions?
Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm happy to see these sub-award agreements being brought to us. So this is 5 in total, correct?
Correct.
And all of the funding is from the Recompete grant?
Correct.
Okay. And another thing I am excited to find out, the transportation component. I know so often we talk about the skills, but how to get people there for the training or get them to where their job may be. So this would be great. So by extending this, the micro transit or the on-demand, you said this will be extended in what area of the city?
Ooh, I
Is
can
it
look
like
that up.
northern?
But essentially, right now, some of the neighborhoods and communities within that footprint are serviced, and you can access the on-demand service. But essentially, there's a gap in coverage, and so this funding will make sure that there isn't a gap.
Okay.
And I can pull up that information.
No, that's okay. I think I can look that up. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of how this supports the other 4 programs.
Yes.
Because with one being out at Lawson State, I know that doesn't.
Right, it's a
service
transportation
that area.
barrier, right? How do you make sure people can get there and then consistently? So yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Counselor Abbott.
I will be happy to hear. I don't have that many questions, but I just wanted to confirm. Okay, item 26 is the whole $20 million grant.
Correct.
And then we have 23, 24, 25, 30, and 31 that are getting a piece of the action
Correct.
from item 26. And all of them sound like great projects. So the question is, well, there's a lot of questions, but I'm not going to ask them right now. I'm just going to think about it some more. But I would suggest, instead of saying recommended funding source, that we say recompete pilot grant award, or something to that effect, so people like me will not bug you about it, or bug Chaz about it, or bug whoever needs to be bugged about it because when these forms are sent in, you know, I remember they're supposed to be filled out completely. Remember that, Chaz? Maybe people could be reminded. I bet they can. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I'm blanking on questions. What does the, Community Innovation Hub, did you talk about that? What does that consist of with
So-
Ed Farm? Is that Ed Farm? Yeah.
With Ed Farm?
Mhm.
Yes. So essentially, if you've seen some of the community spaces that Ed Farm has stood up in other places, that's essentially what they're doing in North Birmingham. And a lot of their subawarding agreement is really their consulting and designing the actual room, and then they'll be purchasing the equipment and whatnot to make sure you can stand it up.
Okay, that's awesome. What kind of communication channels do we have to the public for like Lawson State, for example? Because this is a really awesome program.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the exciting thing about the way that this was designed was that it's essentially you have this one large $20 million grant that's broken up into what the EDA called component projects, but essentially they're like mini grants within themselves. But one of the component projects that we, and there's no funding for it because we are taking the onus on there, but one of the project is a governance project. So, you know, in our phase 1 application, there was no governance project, and I think it's because we thought that we could do it without that. But we quickly understood that you need people, you need some sort of mechanism by which you're connecting all of these projects to make sure that it's not just a one-off grant, that people who are enrolled at Lawson can also access the Early Learning Center,
Right.
can also access microtransit.
Yeah.
So part of this is standing up a governance model and hiring a team of either contractors. We also have an open position right now for a recompete plan coordinator who will be a part of our team and will essentially lead this work in totality.
Okay. Because I think Lawson State is huge, especially for Madam Pro Tem. So the more information we get out there, you know, the better to support her in her district.
Absolutely.
What else? And how many businesses do you think Prosper is? What's their goal for how many businesses they want to help service?
I do have that. So the business piece is a little bit challenging to measure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And I missed this, where's the physical front door?
We haven't identified a permanent location yet,
Okay.
but we anticipate that we'll probably, as we're standing it up, lease probably some office space until we identify an appropriate location, but it will be within those 4 communities.
And what's the 4 communities again? North Birmingham, Inslee?
North Birmingham, Northside, Smithfield, and Pratt.
Okay, Pratt, okay. Because I was just thinking over in the Cultural Arts Center, that's not in any of those communities. They actually have office space that's available for lease.
Okay.
And this is related but not related, but I use some of my ARPA funding for small business programming. So even though this is outside of the community, that may be an opportunity to expand as
Yes.
well.
Awesome, that'd be great. And then back to the Black business piece, we're currently working with them to index and to understand the network completely. I don't have an actual target number, but one thing that we are identifying in this work is a need to be able to index what's out
Right.
there. And it will also be able to represent all small businesses, and so we're excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I don't have any additional questions. Council Abbott?
No, I wanted to make a motion that we approve item 23, 24, 25, 26, 30, and 31 with one vote.
Okay. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those ayes are passed. Thank you. Okay.
That was 6 with one blow.
Yes. Item number 27. This is an ordinance to amend the grants fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 by appropriating $49,999.92 to IMS for Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program. evening.
Darrell Burrows, interim chief information officer at IMS department.
Okay. Is there any additional information we need to know about this program?
Just that it's the third in a series of 3 trainings that was offered by Alabama Workforce. This particular one was for cybersecurity training. They trained about 4 of our technical staff, and we paid for it in advance. And this is a reimbursement from Alabama Workforce grant for that.
That is so awesome. Madam Pro Tem?
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize what this was, so this is just a repayment
Yes,
for
ma'am.
training that's already been conducted?
Yes, ma'am. We went ahead and expended it from our operational budget, and this is just a reimbursement.
And how many staff? You said 4?
Yeah, there were 4 to 5 people that were 2 of our network engineers. There was an information security officer and a couple of our systems analysts.
And is this specific to a particular area in IMS or something that you're trying to get new skills in, or is this just
Yeah, it
several
was across
staff?
our infrastructure and applications division. Just best practices, looking at some of the things that we do, offering some commentary around that and making some adjustments.
Okay, thank you, Madam.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
Okay, so does this have anything to do with our network disruption?
No, ma'am.
So this is just normal, average training that you would have done anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
And then workforce stabilization, does this require them to stick around and be stabilized, or is the stabilization the fact that they're learning new things?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure. We just try to take advantages of any opportunities we can to get training, and this was available, and it was around cybersecurity, and we thought it was a good opportunity.
I agree with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything about cybersecurity is important. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Okay, well, was there
I
a
move
motion?
approval.
All in favor say aye. Aye, the aye passes. Thank you. And then our last one is item number 32. There's a funding agreement between the City of Birmingham and Vulcan City Dental to assist with development, renovation, and outfitting costs for property located at 5110 Uptown Madrid Boulevard. Assist with initial hiring of 11 new employees. This will be ARPA funding for a term of 3 years, amount not to exceed $15,000.
Second.
Hi again.
Hi.
Monique Shorts, and I serve as a Senior Program Manager for the Office of Business Diversity Opportunity. I bring to you Vulcan City Dental. It's a new dental startup founded by Caitlin Grimes. She's been seeking funding for our operation, and she's been practicing for about 12 years, and she had an idea to get her own. And so that's why we're here today, to help her seek their funding. So she's requesting funding to assist the cost of developing, renovating, and equipping the property that's located at 5110 Puerto Madrid Boulevard, as well as the initial hiring of 11 employees. So over the first 5 years, first year it'll be 5, second 3 years it'll be 11, and then 5, 15. And so she's asking for $15,000, and she's ready for any questions.
Okay, do you want to say your name and address, any additional information?
Yes, Caitlin Grimes, and it's for Vulcan City Dental at 510, or 5110 Puerto Madrid.
Can you pull the microphone down?
Caitlin Grimes.
Okay, gotcha. Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. Is this general dentistry or a particular?
It is general.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
perfect. And now you're gonna phase in your staff, so when you start in the
Yes.
first year again, I'm sorry.
Yes, correct. So it will start, so the opening date is going to be sometime around mid-March. Right now, we're still in construction, and so hired actually a Birmingham-based construction company. Costs are about $500,000. And then when construction is done, equipment goes in, I will have the business manager hired prior to, and then on opening day, we'll start with 4 employees, and then up to 7, likely by the end of the first year, so mid-2026, and then 11 by the end of year 3. And those are conservative estimates, I would say. I've been practicing here for quite a while, so have a decent patient population already, so hopefully it should be move faster than just a general startup.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, so can you tell me sort of where this is? I know of Porto Madrid pretty well. but-
Montclair.
Montclair.
Mhm.
Okay, well, yeah. Good. Because further down, it would be harder to operate a dental clinic. Well, so where are you located right now?
Right now, I'm at Woodlawn Dental, just working there.
Just something to do until the building's
Uh,
finished?
Something to make money, yes.
Yeah.
Pay for all this.
Just something like that.
Yes.
Okay, well, this sounds like a great opportunity, and I know that area could use another dental clinic.
Yeah, I was actually working under Stone Creek Dental over in that area, and they, when I left them, they had to close down the office, basically. I think they lost most of the patients. So I'm bringing my office basically back to that same area.
Okay. Okay, well, I think that answers my questions. We all have teeth, and they all need to be fixed, so it's a open opportunity.
Right.
And then our goal too, also with the community, is for the abused and battered women, so the YWCA, to work with them on, with women that are abused, lose problems with their teeth, and then need to get back into the workforce, so as a donated service.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that. Okay. Well, I don't have any questions. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The aye passes. Thank you. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you. Good luck.
We don't have any older new business. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, January 13th, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, guys.
That was the worst.